Hey guys, what's going on? In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create this style of logotype very easily inside of Adobe Illustrator or any vector program without sketching or even knowing much about logotype design. This is kind of a stacked logotype that you see here. It can be placed like this. It's quite popular for these arts and crafty coffee shop taco places, restaurants, food trucks. People love them, and it's because it's so unique. It's not very corporate at all, so people get involved with it. People identify better with it, and the best thing about it is that imperfection is perfection. This is how you actually create it. So get a new slate in Adobe Illustrator. We're going to create a couple of shapes. Now, whenever we're creating a logotype or a logo, the main thing to keep in mind is this invisible box. We always want our logo to fit in an invisible box. Now, if we're going to be writing dream plays, what I would do is I would spell the word correctly up at the top here, just so we know what it says and we know each letter, so we get an idea of the box around it. So dream is a longer version than plays. That makes sense. Let's put it into full caps as well, so we know the actual scale of this. They're basically the same size, you know, in boxes. If we do a box like this around plays and dream, it is kind of the same size. I mean, dream is a bit bigger. But what we want to do with this is create a system where the logo isn't just used top down, but it's also used left to right as a normal place, and it can just be moved quite simply, perfectly like so, giving it this modularity. And the way that we do that is by creating a box like so. I kind of do this and then I'll bring another one down like so. This is what I would call, well, you wouldn't technically call it this, but it's called the X height or the cap height. This is just a guide so we know the boundaries of where our logo can be. If we create dream and plays within this box, it means that when we move this up here where plays is, it will fit exactly. So we're going to highlight this and press Command or Control 5. What that will do is that it will create them as guides and we won't be moving them around. Now, honestly, this is the most fun part and it's the most creative part. We're going to use the pen tool. We're going to go ahead and switch the fill to the stroke, get rid of the stroke there. So we just have a black fill there. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create kind of like a rectangle, but I'm not using any precision to do it. I've just created this rectangle, and then I'm going to go to my direct selection tool and we're going to mess around with this word here. We're going to just mess around with this shape and we're going to make it a bit more playful. And the more that you edit this, the more playful it will be. Now, all you have to do to create the D is essentially this, and I'm intentionally being very rough here. It's supposed to look kind of, you know, not perfect to get this desired effect. Boom, we've got a D there. Now we need to fit the rest of the word dream in here. Now the problem that we have is that it's quite short, but we have quite a condensed type, and we know it's condensed because it's quite tall. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this around, bring this in slightly, and I'm going to actually just copy this part of the D over here. You see, we've created one part of the D here and another one there. We use components to do this, and I've got a course called Logo Launch over at Design Academy or designacad.com. The link is in the description, where we go into further detail of professional logo type design. So ones that are a bit more refined than this, but I go into more detail about components. So essentially, we're going to just use this part of the D here, move this out, and we can create the R. Now with the R here, we can actually make this probably a little bit thinner, like so, but I don't want it to be perfect. And then I'm going to create the R over here. Now we can do it similar to the D, where it's kind of just like a D at the top. So we create this sort of P shape here. We can mess around with the anchor points. In fact, I'm going to add an anchor point in here just for a bit more control. And honestly, it requires no real skill other than good taste and a good viewing of what you're looking for. Because what I'm doing here is essentially just blocking it in. Everything is editable with the direct selection tool. If you're struggling to get the direct selection tool, it's just next to the selection tool, which is just there. What this allows you to do is it allows you to select specific anchor points or nodes around here, like so. One thing to notice, I haven't actually switched this from a fill to a stroke. The reason why is the way that we perceive typography and writing, lettering, and even logo icons is through mass, not through the outline shape, not the shape itself. By mass, I mean how dense is it in the middle? How much space is there that's white versus black in the middle? So having it in full color like so helps us really see what's going on. So I'm just going to move the R like so, do this. Now the problem that we have up here is we kind of got a bit of dead space and the D is quite far out. So I'm just going to select these anchor points here, move them to the left. You see this R here. I'm going to just move that slightly to the left. And I'm trying to keep it to be the same width, but I'm not really measuring it. If I measure it, it'll be too perfect. Then I'm just going to use the square tool, ding ding, just move this around a little bit and create the kind of like the serif look there. Now, before I go on any further, we need to create the whites inside of here. We need to actually create the D shapes. And this is really easy to do as well. Without looking, I'm just going to create this and use the eyedropper tool to make it white. I'm just going to move this up and down and mess around with it until it looks good to us. Now, the really fun thing about doing logo types like this is that it requires a lot of just messing around, fiddling, making sure it just looks good. There's no kind of formula other than it looking nice in the end. And we're creating a shape here, so we can freely edit it. And one little trick I like to do is to copy and paste this, and we're gonna just make this a bit smaller. And now we have a similar sort of shape for the R here. When I teach Logotype design on Logo Launch, I talk about how we should be reusing components a lot. And we reuse certain shapes to give the illusion of consistency. Within this, it's important to have a little bit of consistency involved everywhere. Now, the problem I have here is that this is quite high up or low down. I'm just going to bring it up a little bit just until I'm happy with it. That's the main thing. I just want to be kind of happy with the way that it looks. I'm not too fussed at the moment. And also I'm going to actually bring this section out slightly. Okay, we've run into a bit of a problem here because now if we start to create an E at the same sort of width and height as the R, you'll soon notice that we won't have any space for the A and M. M's quite a big one. So what do we do? Well, what a lot of people do is stack the type up inside so we can make letters smaller. So what we can do is take the E that we've got here, instead of transforming it like so, take the actual selection of the anchor points, just drag them up, bring that down. Let's go ahead and just mess around with this E here a little bit. Maybe make it a tiny bit thinner here. Keep it nice. Copy that one down by pressing Alt and dragging. It's as simple as this. Honestly, it's crazy. Now it's still a bit too thick, so I'm going to take it from this side and chunk it in a little bit. Boom. Then we're just going to move this to the left here. Now, if I'm kind of correct, we should have an A here. Now, the way that I would do this is by just, again, stealing the R part here. We create kind of like a copy of this by reflecting it and copying it. We can drag it like so. Now with this, I like the way that this works, but it looks a bit too perfect. So move that in, create like, you know, the crossbar there with just a normal square tool, very easily move it down. But the problem we have is we've got all this space in here. What do we do with this space at the bottom? Well, something that I like to do is we can just create further parts like so on the R, and then we can move the E down because there's still space there, but we can move the E down to make it look like it's fitting the R. Now again, this is like a very playful version and I'm kind of going quite fast paced into this. So take your time on it and really play around with it. It's something that, you know, I like to do when I haven't got much else to do, because you can just really experiment with how type works, where it goes. So I'm just moving this part there, move this down. Okay, that looks great. There's a few problems with the R that I'd like to fix, but we'll come back to that later. Obviously with the A, I'm just going to squidge that in a little bit by doing the dreaded thing. Okay, we're getting to a point now where we've nearly done the first word. Now, there's a few problems. And the most important thing with logo design is the illusion of consistency. Obviously, these shapes aren't going to be consistent, but they need to fit the same gaps. So let me explain. See this E here. This E looks a lot thinner than the bottom part of this D here. That there means that there's a balancing problem. And in my previous video, which I'll link down below, we talk about balancing as like a really big thing within logo design, especially logo type design. And doing this frame helps us balance the design. However, we've got to look at the balance in between it as well. So look at this D here. I'm going to just extend this up slightly because that's going to thin it out. See this bottom part? I'm going to extend that down a little bit as well. I'm looking for a kind of a consistent line weight all the way around, but not perfect, just to give me the illusion. It's the same with this R. I'm going to move this down a little bit because that kind of doesn't make sense. See this bulging bit here? Move that in. Now, at any point where I'm like, well, I don't know if this will look better, I'm going to highlight everything, Alt drag away from my artboard and just group it. And that will save a version essentially that I won't edit anymore, where I can always go back to if I've made a mistake. Okay, now we've got an M. Now, if I was to just, again, take part of this here and create an M like so, it would look too up straight, and we've got this big line here. What I want is the illusion that everything is kind of fitting perfectly, and we do this by using the previous angle of a letter form here. So you see this A? Well, I'm gonna just create kind of like this angle here, just alluding to this angle, and it looks kind of strange right now. Don't worry, that's what it's all about. And I'm gonna flip this around too. That looks good there. I'm gonna create the bottom part of the M, and honestly, it is very simple to do this. We're just creating lots of boxes that we're going to edit later. I'm going to make sure it kind of fits the whole shape here. Okay, now that I've got that M, it looks awful, so we need to edit it. So just go into your direct selection tool, move some points around. I'm doing it quite fast to show you, and then keep zooming in and out. When you zoom out, you're more able to see the balance. And I can see here that the M looks slightly thin at this point here, for instance. So we're going to move that down, move this out. It actually looks quite thick as well, but it doesn't look bad because the M is inherently, the capital M is quite thick in stature, in wideness, in width than other letters. But what I have noticed is that the E is off on a weird angle. So I'm just gonna move this angle back like so. I'm gonna recreate this top part of the E here. Just get that looking good again. Perfection. Move this part of the E back around so it kind of has the same angle as the A there. In fact, I'm gonna move this top part back, move this back. I like that. Awesome. There's no precision here. We're just kind of eyeballing, and it gives this innocent effect. Now you see this part of the E here, it's kind of angled upwards like so, but we need it to kind of angle like this, or we need to change the angle of the R down here. So I'm actually going to just create a normal square here at the same angle, but I'm just going to change kind of this part here and just make it a bit wider. No, that looks too perfect. I don't like that. This is where it gets hard because you're like, wait, does it look too perfect there? Does it look less perfect? This E looks kind of thin. I'm going to thicken it out a little bit. See, I'm just seeing how it works as we go through. Does it fit the rest of the type? This part of the M looks very thin. Let's just move that slightly out. It doesn't feel like it's coming down enough either. So select these, drag them down, making these subtle changes, zooming in and zooming out. Now, I think one of the problems that we have is that everything's quite close together. So let's move this out slightly, even if it takes away from the bounding box that we've created. Just ever so slightly moving everything out. That's better. It's not perfect, but it's there. So I sped through the second part of this, creating the P down here. It looks very similar because everything is in the same kind of weight. There is subtle differences, like the S kind of looks a bit like a 5 there, but that's okay. We're going quite playful. The A, you can see how it kind of sits on top of the L there. We're really using it as a playful design. So now what? Well, if I was to take this and drag it over here, you see we've got a bunch of whites in there. So what we need to do is take them out. So select everything, press Command, press Shift and M, and we're going to use the Shape Builder tool to get rid of these. So like so, Shape Builder tool, like so, Shape Builder tool, and that will get rid of all the white parts. Then I'm going to select each one, and I'm going to unite them. So I'm going to actually go to Pathfinder, which is up at Window down at Pathfinder, select them, and then there we should have full shapes, or nearly enough full shapes. Now the cool thing about this is that when we take the bottom part and bring it up, it will fit very nicely, and it will fit very nicely at the bottom as well. So it doesn't really matter how long they are, we can actually make them the same size. And what really makes this Logotype design really fun to do is the fact that it fits this invisible box around it. You can see this box fits so nicely, and this is why it works well, because it's filled in. As long as it's readable, as long as it's got the vibe that the company is looking for, which has to be kind of playful, has to be kind of Fortnite-y, then this will work really well in this situation, but not just in that situation, also in this situation here where they are both horizontal as well because of this bounding box that we've got. And you can see when it's scaled down, it reads really well because we've played around with it. We've made sure that it's all similar in weight, although there are some parts here that are obviously not similar because it's quite playful. Now, if you're a graphic designer watching this and you're like, I would love to learn how to craft my own fonts, I'd love to learn how to craft my own logotypes so I can charge more for my services and not have to be a slave to the fonts. Although I love fonts, don't get me wrong. Well, I've recently created a masterclass called Logo Launch, which is to learn the art of bespoke logotype design. In this course, you get 20 hours worth of footage of me walking you through an entire real client process of how I came up with the sketching, how to actually sketch logotypes and letter forms professionally, how to vectorize them. We talk about the psychology of design and how we present our work affects what the client perceives. So I show you the key frameworks of presenting work and getting it signed off and getting that yes with the no revision strategy. So if you're watching this and you would like to learn more, then go ahead and click the link to logolaunch.com and you can see a few free lessons that we've put out for you as well, explaining how the course works. Honestly, logotype design will elevate your skills and increase how much you're charging just by the skill knowledge alone. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to subscribe. It really helps me out. Like and share this video. If you have any questions, feel free to post them below. Thanks for watching.